well from 10 to 18 in the last 45 trading sessions, as Reema pointed out. Let's put up the other, the one other name which is actually rallying quite a bit. That is BLS. I mean, it's not that sort of well discussed or anything, although it has got institutional coverage. It's up 8% right now. There was a big block deal yesterday. The talk in the market is that the last big seller is out. It's one of the large visa processing companies, and they also provide sort of services to governments here in India, state governments in India. For example, they had a long contract with the Punjab government, other governments as well. So let's get talking with the management. Shikhar Aggarwal is Joint Managing Director at BLS International. He's with us on the phone line. Mr. Aggarwal, thank you for your time. Good to have you here. First up, if you could talk to us a little bit about the new Punjab contract. I mean, the new one in terms of just value is lower than what you had going with the Punjab government earlier. Could you tell us, the difference, the difference in size, what the order eventually over the span of the lifespan will mean to BLS?
Yes, hi, good morning. So basically, as you know, BLS International was running effectively the contract for the government of Punjab. We were operating 2,147 centers in more than 20 odd districts across the state of Punjab till end of July. And the government came in and they decided that they wanted a new tender to be in place. So effectively, we went ahead and bid for the new tender, and we also got the new tender. So this new tender is now in 500 centers that BLS is operating across the state of Punjab. Some centers, like tier 3 centers, which did not have a high volume count, were actually effectively closed by the government. So now BLS is operating 500 centers across the state of Punjab. In this new tender, it is beneficial that this is a completely asset-light model in which all the assets and everything is supplied by the government. So BLS has zero cost for this contract, and everything that will be received from the customers will be directly paid to BLS.
So what is the size? I mean, so you said 500 centers here compared to 2,000 plus centers you were operating till July, the previous contract. What is the value of the contract? I mean, this one compared to the previous one, and what are margins, etc., on this contract?
Yeah. So essentially, margins for BLS in e-governance has been 15 to 20% historically. The same margins we expect from this contract. In this contract, since it was not a value of tender that was defined, so it is not a value that we exactly know or calculate how much we can generate in the next 5 years. But this is effectively much different from the last contract, which was a 1,500 odd crore tender. In this tender, the revenue that we expect to generate is much less, but at the same time, it is a much beneficial tender because there will be no outstanding due from the government. There will be no receivable from the government. In this.
Approximately, if you can define a value, a number, the last one you said was 1,500 crores?
So I think approximately application count that we expect in this tender will reduce little bit. So application count will be the same, according to the last tender. Now people will have to come to far off centers that BLS is operating. But approximately revenue size, we have not really, dwelled on what exactly will be the revenue, but it will be reduced from the previous tender.
So, hi Shikhar, good afternoon. As of now, then there are no outstandings from the Punjab government, right?
No, there are outstandings, which we are, as we speak, last quarter, the outstanding was 211 crore, but this quarter end, the outstanding has reduced drastically to 127 crore. So outstanding is reducing every day as we go, and we expect by financial year end, the outstanding should be, cleared. We expect some more money to come in shortly. So outstanding is being cleared every month as we speak.
What about this new service that you've started in UK, in London? I mean, how many applications are you expecting to generate from there, and what kind of margins does something like this give you?
So this is one of the biggest wins for BLS this date. BLS has won a tender in alliance with the strategic alliance partner Sopra Steria for the UK Home Office, in which between BLS and Sopra Steria we expect to get around 500,000 to 700,000 applications per year and expect to generate a revenue of 110 million pounds.
And what about your operations in Spain? I think that business, but last quarter you've seen some dwindling of revenues. Is that just a one-off for that quarter? Because all the cost control that you had shown, which showed up in your margins in Q4, that seems to be heading now back towards that 18% mark.
No, actually the reason was last quarter, our previous Punjab contract ended and we started incurring some, startup costs for the UK project. So quarter 2 and quarter 3 for BLS, I'll say it is definitely a growth, but we don't see a very high growth because of the investment that we have made in the UK project and the Punjab contract that is switched to the new contract now.
Okay, just to talk about a couple of things that you spoke about. One, that outstanding amount of 127 crores, right? Currently.
Yes, correct.
Will any of it have to be written off, or you said all of it will be recovered by the end of this financial year?
No, every 100% of the amount will be recovered. We have maintained our stance from day one that all the money will be recovered. And so as I told you, in previous quarter it was 211, last quarter it's 127. Everything is 100% expected to be recovered. Okay.
The new UK sort of contract is worth how much? You put a figure, I missed that, sorry.
Yes, it's 110 million contract for 3 years, extendable for 5 years.
110 million pounds. Spread over a period of 5 years.
This is for 3 years, and the revenue will increase automatically if it's extended for 5 years. So it's a 3 to 5 years contract.
Okay. And margins on this one?
Same margin, 15 to 20%. And as we increase the value-added services in this contract, the margins will definitely increase.
Okay. Now, so I mean, the October to December numbers should start to reflect a lot of this, Shikhar? It should be vastly different compared to the performance in Q2?
So basically, no, I think that's only it is November that we started the UKVI contract. So it is, the initial stages. So first, it's the initial startup stages, everything is getting streamlined, startup. So I think major impact should come in Q4. In terms of revenue from the UKVI operation. We will see little impact in this quarter, but I think major impact should come in the last quarter.
Any other big sort of contracts, tenders that are up right now, which you've applied for, which could be really game changers in that sense?
Actually, yes. We have applied for 2 big tenders in which we are having some positive traction. So I think results should be announced in the next few quarters. In year 2019, we should start seeing some results for the tenders.
Which are these? I mean, if you could detail this.
So,
yeah.
Actually, we have strict NDAs with the government, so we cannot name the country that we are bidding for. The results are about to be announced, recently, but majorly in the Western government space.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Shikhar, just last one quick word on debt at the company. I mean, what does it stand right now at?
So see, as I told you, company has only some credit limits that we have taken from the banks. That is around 40 or 42, I think 50 odd crores, and they are basically only that we took was financial lease for paying off the Punjab assets and bank credit limits of Punjab. And I think when the dues that are clear by the year end from the government, all the debts of the company will be cleared. So there are no real debts in the company right now. As you know, even the cash on the books right now is much more, is almost triple the amount of debt that we have. So we are in a very comfortable position.
All right, Shikhar, thanks very much. Appreciate you joining in. Good speaking with you here on the show. Thanks indeed. That is BLS International. With a quick update on where everything sits in terms of contracts and big wins. 8% higher on the stock. Samira.
All right, let's do a quick break. When we come back.